Shank Rock is the wave of the future. The diagrams that I have up, where did this go wrong at?
Remember, we didn't know this happened to her.
Around 3 o'clock that morning, I got random text messages and it was just pictures of her and the other little girl. I thought it was strange.
Mike did that.
Oh yeah, you know, that's what I'm here for, so let's get it.
Oh, let's say that's my head for. Let's go back and say, do the last.
Oh, word? You said that's who?
Yeah.
You said that's who?
Yeah, Mike.
Right.
He's trying to get us. That's gonna get it 3. Let's go.
Say, man, what's up, man? This your boy Charleston White, man. This is my first movie ever. $1 million what?
$1 million thing, $1 million thing.
$1 million thing, man. So I'm with my man, the producer Shank, man. So he finna show me what to do, how to put it down, man, so we can pick some up. So y'all stay tuned in and locked in, baby. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of these beefs you've been into.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I love. Let's get to it.
Now, look, I'm going to save her for last, or should I start off with Gorilla first?
Her, you said her. That's a her to you? man, that bitch look like a security guard at a music club.
I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. The psychiatric breakdown of Jarvis butts. Now, I did reach out to Dr. K. It wasn't until late. So I'm not sure if Dr. K will be joining us, but I'm hoping that she does because she has a degree and this is right up her alley. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to all of my moderators. I want to talk about the narcissist, and I want to talk about the monster that many of us believe that Jarvis Butts was. Now, just because we feel a person is one way, just because it might seem that they are one way, it don't necessarily mean that they are. Okay, when we talk about Jarvis, when we think about Jarvis, the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is the P word. That's the first thing. For those that don't know why, let's break it down. Jarvis spent time in prison, 8 to 10 years, for the P charges, the pedophile charges. So when I say P, y'all know what I mean. Right? Now, can he redeem? Can he be redeemed? Let me just ask before we go any further. Drop a 1. Drop a 1. If you think a man had those charges, and if they went to prison for those charges, what are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? This is Dr. K now. Let me just let her know that she can pull up whenever she wants to. Give me a second, y'all. right? Okay, so let's do this. Okay, let me repeat the question. Can a man be redeemed? Jarvis spent time for inappropriate touching of a minor, right? That was many, many years ago. Could he been redeemed? All right, so let me read off some things when it comes to the narcissist. And Dr. K, if you are watching and if you are available to come up, just click on this blue StreamYard link. Like I said, it's early on in the demonstration, so, you know, you can get yourself together. You don't have to rush to come up. I'll be here for a minute. So, okay. So this is what Google says of a narcissist. A narcissist is an individual characterized by an extreme sense of self-importance, a profound lack of empathy, and an excessive need for admiration. Wow. Everyone possesses some narcissistic traits. Let me just stop right there. How many of y'all believe that to be true? Drop a 2 if you possess some narcissistic traits. Let's go there. Now, Lady LeMay says, only by the grace of God. Okay. Tanya says, I got my DSM 4 out, y'all. So let's try to be as honest that as we can. And the reason why, because, you know, you're going to always have people that's going to down the demonstration. The reason why I want to do this demonstration, and I think it's a good idea that we do these demonstrations, because we might be dating, for the ladies, y'all might be dating a Jarvis Butts. For the fellas, we might know some kitties. We might be dating some kitties. We might be dating some nays. So I think the more that we talk about this, I think that it's educational as well as therapeutic. So Cordell says, I have a master's in social work. Yes, Shank, this is very needed. Okay. So while everyone possesses some narcissistic traits, a true narcissist consistently displays a rigid pattern of superiority, entitlement, and manipulation in their daily life and relationships. Now, I don't know about you all, but growing up, I never heard that term, a narcissist. I think I just heard that terminology probably 3-4 years ago. Superiority. Appreciate that. And when people was mentioning a narcissistic, I was like, what the hell is that? Now, I do know that in a relationship, let's just look at relationship. Because see, for me, y'all, and this is just for me, when I listen to these phone calls, believe it or not, I don't blame Jarvis. When I listen to these phone calls, I believe that the broads are just as more in left field than Jarvis is. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all might not feel the way that I feel. So y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Some females enjoy a man like Jarvis. Some females don't have all of their screws tightened upstairs. Some females are loose cannons. Let me just say that. Some females are loose cannons. On the other end, some females like a man to control them. Some females like toxic men. Now, are we to go by the old-fashioned way? Y'all know, long time, it was the right man can change a woman's life. You know, the old-fashioned way, everything was always put on the man. If the woman was weak, if the woman was slow, wherever the women fell short, then a man was supposed to bring her up. Are we going by those old-fashioned ways? Where are we at in the situation in today's society? You know me, and if you don't know me, I feel like accountability works both ways. So listening to these jail calls, I don't believe that these broads were slow. I just think that these broads, that's just how they operated. And I do feel that there are a lot of females that's watching this that would have been a part of Jarvis's stable. That's just my opinion. It says lack of empathy. No, okay, here you go, right here. So it says core characteristics. Understanding the profile involves recognizing several core behavioral patterns. Grandiosity, an unrealistic, inflated sense of superiority. They often exaggerate their talents and expect to be recognized as people or superior, even without corresponding achievements. Okay, did Jarvis exaggerate his talents? When y'all listen to them phone calls, did Jarvis exaggerate to any of them? The only thing that I saw Jarvis, or I heard in Jarvis, was that, you know, he was on top of his game as far as getting these women to do what he needed them to do. And like I said, you got a lot of females that's like that. I done been with a lot of females. I done seen females, you know, and they'll tell you, some females need a man. Now, the females may not be you, but there are a lot of females out here that need a man. They need that dominance. They need that, where you at, what you doing, who you with. Some females feel like the only way that a man shows that they love them is they have, to some females, that's how they determine whether or not the man loves them or are into them. And if that's so, was Jarvis at fault? Was he at fault? It says lack of empathy, an inability or unwillingness to recognize or care about the feelings, needs, or boundaries of others. Once again, when you and look, I'm gonna go to the jail calls. You know, I'm trying to balance it out. I'm trying to not always play the jail calls, because sometimes I just be like, man, I'm ready to cut this off and end this live, because sometimes I really don't feel like listening to the jail calls. But in this demonstration, we're going to have to listen to these jail calls, because when you listen to them, okay, let me come to my chat. All right. Lady LeMay says he was controlling. Once again, there are females that like that. And when I listen to Nay, for me, when I listen to Nay, everything was a joke. Like Nay, and this is just my opinion, Nay was doing more manipulative things than Jarvis was. Tanya says, I think she also has some psychopathy going on. Let me see if Dr. K, because this is what Dr. K specializes in. And I'd rather have somebody that specializes in this. Okay, now it comes to, and then after I read this, I'm going to go to the jail call. It goes, manipulation and control, using charm, guilt, or gaslighting to bend situations to their will and maintain social dominance. What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? Manipulation and control, using charm, guilt. I heard them using some guilt, you know, especially with Kizzy, you know, or gaslighting to bend situations to their will and maintain social dominance. I didn't see no guilt. I didn't see none of this when it came to Shannon. What about y'all? Did y'all detect Jarvis as a narcissist when it came to Shannon? I didn't detect it. I think with Shannon, you know, he got 5 children by her, you know. She probably was one of the first ones around from the beginning. So he really ain't had to do too much with Shannon. Shannon was going to ride or die with Jarvis regardless of what. He used guilt with all of them, if you ask me. No, he barely talked to Shannon. The fact he denied one of his kids with Shannon is crazy work. You right, Shank. Nay peeped his whole card. Nay something else. She's something else, right? Right? He had all those characteristics. Okay. Nay something else. And she even said, two could play that game. He thought I was green. He thought I was slow. I be tripping. But I'm not mad at Nay. I think Nay was time enough for Jarvis. I think Kizzy, in her own way, was time enough for Jarvis. I think those two were time enough for him. Every time he lowered his voice, he was showing his guilt. Shannon was the lifer. He also used reproductive coercion. Having all those kids ensures he stays in the women's lives. And he also didn't care about none of their health because he was surely not using protection. And I will say that when men wants to trap a female, men will at least put one baby up in there. I know that. Oh, I'm going to get her pregnant. So I know I got her for at least 18 years, at least. But then you got to look at it on the flip side, Tanya. Could it have been the other way around? Could it been Shannon popping out all them babies for Jarvis to secure her spot? But I do feel and I do believe and I do think that you're right as far as having all those babies by her. Nay a client, I'm dead. Nay, something serious, Precious Jones. Nay, it's something serious. And then she hit you with that. She hit Jarvis with that voice. Let me see where it comes at. With that guilt, make him kind of like feel sorry. Cause in the beginning, when we first started hearing these phone calls, in the beginning, a lot of us was feeling sorry for Nay. I was feeling sorry for Nay a little bit until I heard that interview. And she said, nah, he thought I was slow. I wasn't slow. Two can play that game. I was like, all right, Nay, all right. Weak women and think being told to do or ask where they go and come as love. Let me grab the phone calls, y'all. Give me 1 second. Yeah, because after a while, you're going to stop shooting the club up if you don't want it. Kizzy was no good for no one. I mean, no one. I said it, big girl. Kizzy is the type of female that's in left field. She enjoys being in left field, and nothing that you or I gonna say to her, ain't nothing that nobody gonna say to Kizzy that's gonna change her heart. Kizzy is the type of female that you just send straight to the track. You send her straight to get your money. Nothing more, nothing less. She's not good for nothing else but to go get you your money. So, and that's just part of the game. It comes with the game. So you got to remember, Jarvis was moving like a street dude. If you want to consider him to be a G, if you want to consider him doing some pimping, regardless of however you want to view Jarvis was moving in the streets. And all those females that was rocking with Jarvis, they knew that Jarvis was a street dude. They knew that Jarvis was a street dude. And when females choose a guy, a street guy, when females, whether they're in the life or not, if a female choose a guy and they know that he's a street guy, then that female is just as guilty as that guy. And anything that takes place, anything that happens, you cannot feel sorry for that female. Those are the type of females that will rob you. Those are the type of females that'll steal the shirt off your back. That's Kizzy. That's Nay. If there's nothing else that I got out of these phone calls, when it comes to Kizzy and Nay, they are some down ass chicks. Ride or die. Straight like that. You don't got to do no manipulation on their part. You don't got to tell them a bunch of stories. You don't got to sell them no dope fiend dreams. You don't got to convince them. You don't got to do none of that. All you got to do when it comes to Nay and Kizzy is just tell them where to go, how to bring your money back. Anything else, they're going to give you a problem. They're going to tell you, just keep it real with me. I don't got time for all these mind games. And you're going to be sitting up there as a man and you're going to be like, damn, I prejudged her. I thought she was a good girl. When you listen to Nay and Kizzy on them phone calls, and that's why, in my opinion, when it came to the comment that Kizzy made about Naziah not being the only missing girl, it's other girls out there missing. In my opinion, Kizzy meant that. Kizzy could care less about Naziah. And I'm going to tell y'all one reason why we know. Because Kizzy don't give a damn about her own children. So you know if she don't care about her own children, what in the hell you think she gonna care about Naziah? These are some down to ride or die chicks. And if you're not careful, these are the type of chicks that not only will rob from you, not only will steal from you, these are the type of chicks that'll take your life. Appreciate the super sticker, Peaches. Make no mistake about it. These are the kind of females that'll take your life. So maybe Jarvis took the red rum because Jarvis didn't want Kizzy or Nay to go down. I'm not saying that that's what happened. I'm only saying because many of you all still tell me, Shank, Jarvis took the red rum to protect people. And that's why he took the red rum. So maybe Jarvis was trying to protect Kizzy or Nay. Maybe he was trying to protect both of them. Jarvis was running an operation. Jarvis just wasn't no lone wolf. Jarvis just wasn't out there hitting and missing. Jarvis had his shit running well. Look at everybody that he had in pocket. Look at everybody that he had on board. You see how he was running shit on the phone. Imagine how he was running them when he was on the streets. Imagine how he was running them when he was on the streets. If he was able to run them from a jail cell, y'all don't think he was running them when he was on the streets? I'm just giving y'all my observation of this. When you look at it, this is how street dudes move. This is how they move. When they got operations going on. Can I get everybody to wish Corey a happy late birthday? I ain't forgot you, Corey. Can I get everybody to wish Corey a happy late birthday? I'm gonna take a break and come back. I'm gonna upload the footage, y'all. The phone call. So I'll be right back, y'all. Let me take a break. The Shank Rock is the wave of the future. The diagrams that I have up, where did this go wrong at?
Remember, we didn't know this happened to her.
Around 3 o'clock that morning, I got random text messages and it was just pictures of her and the other little girl. I thought it was strange.
Oh yeah, you know, that's what I'm headed for, so let's get it.
Oh, let's say that's my head for. Let's go back and say do the last.
Oh, word. You said that's who?
Yeah.
You said that's who?
Mike.
Right.
He's trying to get us.
Let's get it 3.
Let's go. Say, man, what's up, man? It's your boy Charleston White, man. This is my first movie ever. $1 million what?
$1 million thing, $1 million thing.
$1 million thing, man. So I'm with my man, the producer Shank, man. So he finna show me what to do, how to put it down, man, so we can pick some up. So y'all stay tuned in and locked in, baby. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of these beefs you've been into.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I love. Let's get to it.
Now, look, I'm gonna save her for last, or should I start off with Gorilla first?
Her, you said her. That's a her to you? Man, that bitch look like a security guard at a music club.
All right, y'all. So appreciate this super chat. Hold up, y'all. Appreciate this super chat, Sonya. Glad to catch you live. Glad to have you here. So, Dr. K, if you're in the chat, click on that blue StreamYard link, and that'll bring you up on the panel. I'm going to drop the blue StreamYard link back in the chat, Dr. K. I got a lot going on, so y'all just bear with me. All right, hold tight, y'all. So for those that have just pulled up, the demonstration is the psychiatric breakdown of Jarvis butts. All right. Hold up.
Build anything just by thinking about it. Meet base 44.
Understand how I was online and I just
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know what's going on. You sound like you sleep. Are you in the toilet? What's going on?
Okay. Okay.
I'm set up a visit tomorrow.
Huh?
I'm gonna set up a visit with you tomorrow.
How you well, I can't see you.
Trust and believe. Just when I do it, accept.
Mm. When you get out of there, you going back to the old house, or what did you go do?
Come up with my woman.
You don't have one of those.
Huh?
You don't have one of those. I mean, you got a couple of them. I don't know which one you're talking about.
Wow, that's what's up.
A couple of them.
I'm about you, motherfucker.
Bye bye.
Huh? That's what I'm doing.
I said that's what you say.
That's what I'm doing.
Mm.
All right, Tasha.
Why you all right now?
I don't feel like being in that kind of mood right now, but all right.
I'm good. I just found out that I'm on lease to lease month to month. I didn't know it was month to month.
You talking about? That's what they normally have, month to month. But you talking about, man, like you?
No, I thought I had to leave. I thought I had to leave in August. But since I'm on a month to month, I can leave when I get ready to.
Okay, but you're saying if you go out of town, man, it's gonna take a while. So why would you do that and be fucked up? I thought you was finna move closer to your job.
Yeah, but now that I know I'm on a month to month, all I gotta do is wait for Section 8 to do what they gonna do. I don't know. I gotta wait. I just have to wait and see what they gonna do. There's a question about that. The other house that was closer to my job, somebody already.
Which one was that one? flat,
one,
the flat or the other one?
the flat, not not the duplex,
Oh, so the other one.
the one that was 4 minutes away.
Okay.
And then you talking about had some rats or whatever.
Okay. I'm gonna have to call you back. We finna eat, so I'm gonna call you back.
Right.
All right, love you.
Hateful.
All right, let me slide in for a second because I'm just seeing your question about Jarvis having game. All right, let me see if I can grab it, y'all. All right. Somebody wants to know, Shank, do Jarvis have game? Let me ask the question. Let me ask the chat as well as the replay game. What are y'all thoughts? Do y'all think that Jarvis had game? Drop a 3 if you think Jarvis had game. Drop a 4 if you think he didn't have game. I'm going to drop a 3 because even though some of these females like Nay, like Kizzy, even though they were ready to go, they was trained to go, Jarvis still had to put things in motion for them. Tanya says he was filled off of chaos. Sen says, no, we want your perspective. Okay, I'll give y'all my perspective. Siri, play Ray Cash, Pimp, and my own, you know what, mine, because Jarvis was Ray Cash to they women on the streets, if that's how he ran things from the cell. Jen says, you know, man, y'all, boy, I see you, Big Mama. Karen says, heck nah. Cornell says, no, 44, these women just desperate. How many of y'all agree with Cornell? Do you think that they were just desperate? I don't think that they were that desperate. Let me get a few more comments and then I'll give y'all my perspective. Love says, it's not game when you have to manipulate. Game is when they all know and still going. But love yours, they did know. They did know. Now, maybe not all of them, but some of them did know. And even when they did find out, they still stayed down with Jarvis. We know that Nay knew. We know Nay knew. For I'm too old to fall for that BS he's spitting. You wouldn't have been on his team, Nubian. Look, let's do this, y'all. Let's be honest. Drop a 5 if y'all would not have been on Jarvis's team. Drop a 6. Be honest with me. Drop a 6 if you would have been on Jarvis' team. Drop a 6 for me. It was game for simple-minded hoes. Val dropped a 3. He sold lies for a hell of a price. Desperate. 3, he had to have some game. Hell yeah. I do. Look at the replay. No redemption of these crimes. They were desperate. They really loved this animal. 5. It's not games. It's just light skin, good looks, and the D. How many of y'all agree with Cornell? How many of y'all agree with Cornell? Drop a 7. Do y'all think just the fact of him being light skinned, good looks, and the D? Sean just says high 5. All right, let me come on down here, y'all. All right, let me give y'all perspective. Let me give y'all my perspective. All right. I think Jarvis had game. Now, according to who you talk to, everybody is going to give a different definition on game. Like I can give y'all my definition of game. Somebody else can come up here and give a complete different definition. See, nah, Shank. Game is this. Okay. I don't see you, Dr. K. I don't see you, Dr. K. So let me do this. Let me click on this blue StreamYard link that I'm dropping right here in the chat, Dr. K. Click on that blue StreamYard link because I don't see you backstage. I hear you, Chrissy. I hear you, Chrissy. All right, let me try to, okay. In my opinion, Jarvis had game. Now, some people feel like Shank. Game is when you don't have to lie. Some people feel like game is when you do lie. Some people say finessing. So it's just all kind of opinions when it comes to game. This is why I say that he had game. Because he knew, and I do gotta update his stable of women. I gotta, add these other women to his stable. But he was able to finesse, okay, his fiance. Now this is game. Let me give y'all my perspective. And it's just my perspective, and it's okay if y'all disagree. But what did his fiance say? Jarvis would come by, what'd she say, 10 o'clock at night? And then by 2 a.m., he was gone. Right? That's game. How in the hell is you going to only spend 2 to 3 hours with your fiance? You don't even live with her, and she's okay with that. So his situation with the fiance was game. Let me just let Dr. K just slide in on this. If anyone would like to ask Dr. K any questions, feel free. But listen to me. If you want to ask her a question and I don't get to your question, put it in the super chat. Okay? Let's go, Dr. K.
Okay, so normally when you get someone like this, it's a behavioral pattern that you often see. Control in the beginning, entitlement when the women don't comply, because we actually seen that when we were listening to the recordings yesterday. If you notice in the beginning, his tone was very controlled, very calculated, very when I say controlled, you notice you were still seeing him controlling the narrative throughout the whole time. It was always about how he conducted the conversations, right? There's the sense of entitlement, which you constantly seen over and over again. We were listening yesterday, right? And then if you notice, as you get further down in the conversations between the two of them, by the time we were finished yesterday, you noticed there was jealousy and threats, right? And the jealousy comes in when somebody enters into a space and they feel threatened within that relationship. You notice he got very hostile, right? He went from being a very controlled person to then becoming extremely hostile. And it was the way that hostility was. And if you notice, she went from being very cocky, strong, in the conversations to when he started the threats, you saw her diminish herself and becoming more compliant and trying to talk him down and saying what he needed to say in order for her to survive. When we talk about like your nervous system um, having a response to trauma, that's it. When you feel escalated, your emotions are high, you go into survival mode, because that's exactly what she was doing in that incident. When you are dealing with a volatile person, right, your nervous system always responds in that way because you're trying to do what? Protect and preserve self. So if you constantly are on that hamster wheel, and this is the part when we think about relationships, for example, when we hear atrocities for when a man has killed the whole family, right? Again, I said yesterday, it's depersonalization, because if it's not an actual person, you have to connect your emotions to it. Most people who are antisocial, right, psychopaths, is because they spent their childhood, right, in survival mode. So they learn to be self-centered. It's your body's response to the environment you live in. This is, we talk about like a lot of things that we see, there's that psychological aspect to it. So we'll say they knew who he was, blase blase. But when I think about like psychological warfare, for example, it is the same conditions you can see in the military. They do what? They tear the man down. They create the man they want to be. That's exactly what happened in those relationships. They tear them down and they create the image that they want to see. So you're dealing with trauma bonding in this situation. And it's still, again, for the woman, it's about survival. How do I survive being in this relationship? So you constantly keep seeing these elements, right? The other part is when the jealousy comes, then they become threats, right? And that's exactly what he did yesterday. Remember, he started off being controlled, then he escalated, and the threat started. And after the threats, the explosive behavior is there. That's when the woman is now trying to control the narrative, de-escalate him, and comply. That's everything I'm saying is how we actually saw those conversations yesterday start. And when he got to a point where he felt like his position with her was threatened, that's when we was like, oh, now we see the real person. Now he's not this controlled, calm person that he was presenting in the beginning.
Stay right there. Stay right there. Because before you came on, I was speaking on some women needs a Jarvis. Some women loves a man like Jarvis. If a man is a narcissist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something wrong? Or is the man foul if he used certain tactics to manipulate women that love being manipulated? Being manipulated.
So this is kind of how I see it, right? Because again, all of these people begin somewhere, right? Um, and when we look at psychopathology, right, how a person actually thinks and navigates in the world, and their response to the environment around them. They all started off as somebody's child. And my job is to understand what brought the person to do the acts that they do, especially when we're looking at someone of his caliber. That's the portion we always miss. How did he get here? And what happened in his life to bring him here? That's the piece we miss. right? We're not trying to understand how somebody like him exists in the world. Also, what we don't try to understand is the home environment of the women that live within it, and also what happened to them growing up to bring them into a place where they choose a man like him, right? And those dialogues are rarely happen when situations like this arise. We're not trying to understand what happened in these people's lives to bring them to a point where they are a menace to society. It just doesn't really happen, especially not in our community. And again, when I think about the people we have that are trying to get us to understand these things, a lot of times their voices aren't heard. So we get a lot of the other stuff. We get the basic mundane things, but we still have to understand this why. And I'm going to be very goddamn honest about it. At one point in life, when I first started my master's program, this was in 2008, it was rare, and I do mean extremely rare, to have children with antisocial behaviors. You could not even diagnose a child with that disorder until they were 18. But I want to tell you something, because we're not paying attention. There are more children under the age of 10 with antisocial behavior. So if we're turning out now, in the span of what, almost 15 years, that's 2008, now diagnosing children with antisocial behavior, even though that's not the word they use. The word they use is ODD, oppositional defiant, but those are the same children that turn into what we have. They just changed the name so it don't sound so harsh on a child, but they're exhibiting the same behaviors. So what is it in our communities and in our world today where we didn't have children exhibiting these behaviors? So again, for him, his home environment had to be a very extreme and chaotic environment to turn that out. The other factor that we never factor in is goddamn genetics. That is one of the things I teach parents the most. Parents come in, my child is angry, they're displaying these things. And then the first thing I ask is, one, who's the hothead in the environment? Because what are we teaching them about conflict? How are we teaching about managing their emotions? Because again, these are still things that, how this man was able to harm a child in the way he did, and his humanity had to be removed. You want to know what kind of home environment he was in to cause that to happen.
I want to talk about Jarvis being redeemed. Can a man that is a pedophile, can that man be redeemed?
The interesting piece about that, right? And another thing, we ain't talking about them either, because they've normalized it in science now. But that's neither here nor there. It is very rare, and I do mean very rare, that they are redeemed from doing that. It is the most rarest thing. I'm not saying that they cannot be, you know, uh, rehabilitated.
Rehabilitated.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they cannot be rehabilitated, but it is very, very rare for that to happen. And that's why yesterday when I was saying we're seeing more younger people do it, right? That's when I'm saying we need to be having conversations about it, because now you have young children doing it. Because let's not forget about that baby, that 5-year-old that those 3 children assaulted. There should have been outrage, and we should have been trying to figure out what we need to do in the community to impact that. And I want to say this: I work for DHR, and if it happens, like children amongst children, the only child that will be prosecuted is anyone 14 above. But the children who are under 14 aren't prosecuted. And at times, that child never gets the psychological services that they need either, right? Which means they get to go undetected, and other parents don't get to know what happened. So now you have a child who has a thirst for something that is very difficult to quash because people don't have conversations about it. Remember yesterday I was talking about a guy named Kingsley and how we got sex education in school. I didn't go into detail about him and who he is, but he got his claim to fame from taking notes from pedophiles. People still use his data. This is how we got sex education in school, was based off what he found in his writings. But the thing they didn't take into consideration is all of the notes were taken, and he meticulously taught them how to take notes, meaning everything he was guiding them in doing while he was trying to understand sexuality, because that's what he was studying, was all given to us by pedophiles. That children have sexuality. Imagine that, right? And his research is some shit we still using today, because it's wild to me to take that kind of information to determine sexuality within a child that was given to a scientist by pedophiles. Is it's what when you were asking me yesterday about um licensure versus you know what I mean, um her moving as a coach, this is one of the things that I was saying, like, I might sound like a hypocrite when I'm telling you, but when I tell you the research I've done in the confines of what is considered um government standard, there's a lot of shit that you get what I'm saying, that has happened under the guise of protection of people who are supposed to be licensed. And that's still another conversation when we think about what the standard is.
I, I,
So
I, I, I got a question for you real quick. Can you see the screen? Appreciate the super chat, Sen. Can you see that question for you on the screen?
um do you believe, doctor, that it's rare because they are presented with sexual triggers daily? Um yes, because majority of them are often violated as children. We forget about predators are oftentimes violated as children. And think about it, how you respond, how your body responds to sexual acts is really what the person is battling with. And what you find is children who are sexually assaulted either become hypersexual, meaning extremely sexual, or hyposexual, meaning they don't always want to have sex at all. They shy away from it. Even the touch of another person could send them, you know, into being triggered and completely shut down a situation. It happens in relationships when I'm working with clients who have been sexually assaulted and their partners are looking for intimacy and they don't comprehend the magnitude of what happens in the mind of a person who's sexually assaulted. And it's not always violent, it's just being touched as a child. And the respond to touch can bring triggers. So when you're looking at, that's why I said nobody's trying to understand how we got him. Like what happened in his life to bring him to this point where he's disconnected from his emotions, because again, nobody has talked about the child or the conditions that she had to bring her outside of her parents' care. Because again, she wasn't being taken care of by her mom or her father. So what you're seeing is a cycle. It's an ugly cycle. But we don't like when we talk about Black topics and the things we want to talk about, we shy away from the most important pieces. We'll gloss over it, but it's very uncomfortable. Talking about sex with children is already uncomfortable for the parent to have the dialogue with the child and society to have this conversation.
Let me slide in. Allegedly, and I gotta say allegedly, this is the older lady that inappropriately touched Jarvis when he was 13.
So it makes sense right now that we know that not only was he a predator, but somebody preyed upon him. Let's just keep it 100. And I have been having this conversation with various people over the past 2 weeks. When we talk about males, or when a boy is sexually violated by an older woman, it's seen as conquest. But when the tables are flipped and it's a woman or a girl, there's public outrage. Why isn't it public outrage?
Stay right there. Stay right there. Because when I first brought this to the forefront, women in the chat was saying, "Oh, cut it out, Shank. It's a badge of honor for a boy to have sexual relations with an older woman." And I said, let me explain something to y'all. If I'm 13 years old, at 13 years old, my best friend, my third leg hasn't fully developed. Now, I'm getting ready to have, or I'm having sexual relations with an older woman. Females mature quicker than we mature. I didn't say you, Sonya, right?
Intellectually, for sure.
Right. But let me get this super chat from Sonya real quick. Can you see this one?
Yeah, I seen it.
Okay, read that. Appreciate this, Sonya.
I'm raising a child with ODD, and it is traumatizing to me. She's only 7. She's in therapy, but what comes with that is extremely hard. Yeah. I was seeing a 7-year-old about a year ago, and we were getting to the heart of her anger, because a lot of times you got to understand where the anger of that child is coming from. This particular child, her the only male figure she had, because her father wasn't active in her life, was her grandfather, and he passed away. And what happened was, she seen him one day, and the next day, her grandmother and mother had saw him, but she was away at school and she didn't get a chance to say goodbye. And when I tell you she traumatized, she has been traumatizing her mother and her grandmother ever since. She's been angry about it. But when we get to genetics, mom had a relationship with a man who was just like Jarvis. And that's that other component that we don't factor in. Remember yesterday when I was saying we used to have communal courtship and your parents were part of choosing your mate, uh, because they understood genetics. We don't have this conversation. We find love in many places, but we not understanding genetics. And when we made up with someone who has certain genetics, the predisposition of it, right? We have a 50-50 chance of our child coming out with those same characteristics. And often what you see is the display of those behaviors are often worse. Um, and I think it's good that your baby is in therapy, because her learning how to manage her emotions and you learning how to work with her. I think the thing I'm seeing the most with kids today is their inability to actually verbalize their emotions, how they're feeling. Um, I've seen really good work at something called Circle of Security, because it's set to teach parents how to bond with their children by attachment style, especially when they didn't have a chance to really gather that bonding. Because remember, I also talked about yesterday, um, dang, that slipped my mind. Oh, how parents have to work and do all of these things, so they don't have time to give them their full attention. I think it's very important in their early years to get that. And sometimes we can't do that because we have to work at times and there's a disconnect there. But the therapy, if they really have a good therapist, and that therapist should be working with you, teaching you how to engage with her, um, giving you tools on to work with her through certain things. And I'm not saying all therapists do that, because they don't. And if your therapist is not, then you need to change them and find somebody that's going to be working with the two of you to stay involved, because sometimes they like to separate the parent from the child. But you have to be able to know how to engage with that child and teach them how to manage their emotions, but understanding the underlying cause of it. Because once a person knows why they're angry, they're able to express it instead of getting frustrated and wanting to do whatever.
You see the question, another question for you. And then after you answer this question, we're gonna go back to the phone call. Can you
We
see the
talked about
question?
that earlier. Yeah, no, it's very rare, for them to be rehabilitated, because it's like urges and impulses. It's like having that conversation with a sex addict, right? Any addiction, right, is very hard to kick. But for some reason, this particular thing is is really hard to see that change. There's plenty of research showing it, and you have to. It's like working with um, personality disorders. They're often fixed in the dysfunction, because those personality disorders come because they are involved in extremely chaotic households. When you I think yesterday I talked. No, I didn't. This is another one I discussed. I had a young lady I was seeing with multiple personality disorder, and her mom used to strap her to a chair and leave her there for hours.
Mm.
So we talk about what a person experienced in a home as a child that brings them to a place where they're disconnected from their emotions. You would have to want to understand what was going on in the life of a child that brought him there. So we already know he was sexually assaulted at the same age of the person that ended up expiring due to him. Think about that.
Mhm.
It happened to him at what, 13? And here it
Mhm.
is, a repeat of what actually happened. It tells you everything you need to know about what that experience was for him, because he didn't see what a boundary there, because there wasn't a boundary in his eyes. And that's again one of the things we still talking about is what you learn from your environment. And a lot of us, we don't go there much because majority of us grew up in a fucked up environment, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? But it's like telling a child that grew up with thieves, right? By way of how they survive, and then telling them they wrong. Well, his parents taught him that stealing ain't wrong. And that was the life he learned. And in that environment, it's not a wrong in his home. So it's something wrong with you. Because what I experienced in my home was acceptable. It still go back to a lot of things we normalize, right? Sex before marriage is normalized. That's why we have a ongoing influx of children born by teenagers. Because once something is normalized, it's acceptable.
That's facts. That's facts. Appreciate this super sticker, Sonia. Let's tap back into these jail calls.
By an inmate at Wayne County Jail, subject to recording and monitoring. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now. Thank you for using Telmate.
I get you to check your message.
I did, but I can't respond back. My money didn't load on my card, so I can't see my money on my thing.
So you couldn't, that's why you couldn't check your visit meter?
Huh?
That's why you check that visit meter?
I looked at my big thing. I don't got no big thing to me yet. I went there this morning.
Hold on 1 second.
Outside.
Yours.
That's my dog. I got a dog too. The dog dog Wonderful. Mama got about 200 girl with me. I think I put it.
So
So you can be cool with me. I walk up to the try to call back. They didn't need
okay, go on your visit thing.
Now,
Go to your visit thing now.
okay. Hey, can I push your account? Can I push that and said no? This is my first please. No, they're telling me schedule a visit instead. It's no all things.
Hold on. I'm trying to pop it.
Huh?
You know when you see it? Do you see it now?
I go to my visit.
Yeah.
Hey, I did it.
Huh?
I did it.
Okay, so what do you say? What time?
April 26th at April 26th at 7 p.m.
Yep.
Where you going to the house? Say, see you later.
Being just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
So, let's see, let me see.
What do you eat for breakfast?
I don't eat breakfast.
Why?
I don't eat that shit. I don't eat no cereal.
What did you eat this morning?
I don't eat breakfast. I ate lunch. I just got done eating some lunch. So I ain't finished. I got on the phone to talk to you. But you did get my message this morning.
Yes. Yes.
And Stace,
Yes.
I forget.
I'm not going to forget.
As you said, I ain't finna hold you long.
I'm not doing anything.
When I still want to say it, my phone. Okay. So I'll see you at 7. Rachel.
Still, this subject to recording and monitoring. The inmate has requested that you cover this call. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now. Thank you for using Calmates.
Hello?
Hello?
What's up?
Yes. Babe.
What?
I ain't gonna put no money on your books this now right now. I was on the phone with my brother, so she gonna send me $200 for my rent, and then my auntie gonna give me some money Sunday. Pay rest of my office today. And that shit is crazy. Like I signed a form and everything. I'm like, what the fuck?
I ain't tripping.
I just want to let you know.
I ain't tripping. I'm finna go get in the shower. So I'll call you a little later. I saw what's wrong. I was calling to make sure there wasn't nothing wrong.
No, I just want to make sure you straight and make sure I keep my promise, my word on my end.
Yeah, I know. I kind of figured they was gonna be on some bullshit anyway. So, yeah, just whenever. Like I said, ain't in no rush. So just whenever.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna have to double it up next time. All right, babe.
Let me ask you this, Doc. Is it game? Is he running game? Is it they're just in love with him? What's going on?
Again, we're going back to how he works, right? And most of them use fear and dominance, right, to control the narrative. Because if you see how soft she's gotten from where we were in the beginning with her like, I don't care, whatever, whoop, 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 and now you get a different person because this is normally the cycle. Because you notice he turned up on her, and after that happened, now her engagement with him is soft. And that's just what that cycle is. Like a cycle of it's a psychological game that transpires. But this person also learned this from his environment, meaning he has a parent or whoever parented him have those same tendencies. People learn from their environments. And genetic only the genetics. What happened with the genetics is the environment it alters the genetics. So if it's dormant and it's in there, then that environment that they grow up in turn that shit on. It turn the expression on. Think about the conditions. and the state of that environment. Because again, we still talking about environments. Think about it. We see across social media, right? And this is a cautionary tale to every parent on here. All you see across social media is other people's children doing what? You create a visual enticement of your kids across social media because it's babies popping ass all over the town. And what a parent is not thinking about is what you producing, because your algorithm gonna keep throwing it down the feed.
That's true. That's facts.
When we talk about what you feed your mind every day produces something internally and externally. The conversation about, what was that baby girl name? Miss Shirley.
Mm.
We weren't in the outrage. We were outrage about this because her mother literally created OnlyFans. Literally take the child to clubs at night. What child do you get when I say the environment and the conditions that a child grow up with is gonna shape their adult life, and they spend their whole life either running from the past of their childhood, succumbing to it, which is how we get gangs and all the rest of the shit we seeing in our community, excuse my French. And we're not having dialogues about the most important pieces. And it still goes back. What was that?
Stay right there for 1 second. I want to present what I had to say about Miss Shirley. We got to do better. Mothers, y'all have to do better. No longer, as a mother, can you hide behind, well, I'm a single mother. We're not accepting that anymore. No longer can you, as a mother, go without being held accountable. I'll say it again. A toxic mother is worse than an absent father. If you are a mother and if you are raising your child, there's no manual, there's no book on how to raise a child. However, there's certain things that as a mother, you should not allow your child to entertain. And as a mother, you should not allow a 4-year-old baby to be dancing and entertaining grown folks at no club. All right? As a mother, be careful who you turn your babies over to. Everybody don't got your baby's best interests. As a mother, you need to first know exactly who it is that you are opening your legs up to. Because if the father is a no good for nothing father, then what makes you? You lay down with the no good for nothing man and open up your legs to him. And I don't want to hear, but I ain't know, Shank, who fault is that? See, y'all women been bullying us men for so long. Y'all women been making us men take accountability for y'all funky asses. And it's time that y'all funky asses is held accountable. For all the funky ass mothers out there, get your shit together. Come on in, Doc.
On the mother side of things, what we choose to precondition our children to, and it is gotten really bad. Especially when I think about over the past 5 years, what we actually see across social media is normalizing soft porn, because that's exactly what it is. There's no other way to describe it, because again, whatever the society normalized, the children deem as acceptable. That's just that point. And I think when we understand that piece, and I don't think we're protecting our communities um, at all. And it's still a pet peeve of mine that every group of people have a right to protect their communities, create a standard across all social platforms. I'm not saying that it ain't dysfunction, but we not doing it. But we're also, I wanna caution us again, viewed as racist when we set the standard and say we're going to focus on our community to develop it, to build it, to correct it, to grow it. We're not allowed as a group of people to focus solely on our own communities, because everybody else's wealth, social interactions, everything depend upon what we do. And I don't think we realize how powerful that is as a people, and why it's important to protect it. And again, I'm not being racist here. What I'm saying is we need to focus on self-preservation before we can worry about fighting for anybody else. And it's not something we're doing. We want everybody involved in the growth of the community, and we're not allowed to actually focus solely on the community.
It's true.
And it's still something we're not discussing. Even with all that's happening with the whole Asian boycott at this point. Because they haven't realized how powerful our dollar is. But not just our dollar, our influence is powerful. We're the smallest community in this country. We ain't even gonna talk about the land being ours. But our influence is so damn great that it doesn't just impact the states, it impacts the whole damn world. And we really haven't realized how powerful that is. And if we had the sense I know we have to capitalize and collectively come together, because again, it's still gonna be some drama because we don't like everybody to get money. But still, at the end of the day, to focus on growing the community, cleaning it up, setting standards, because we got a problem with standards. But we need standards. This is how this happens, because we don't have standards. That's how Miss Shirley happened, because we don't have standards. We will get
No, that's
outraged at
facts.
the basic things, but we don't get outraged at the right things.
That's
And it's
facts.
time for us to figure it out. Because I don't see what the hell we're seeing to change. We need to figure out something soon as possible, because if you notice, and they trying to throw us out the system.
Let me just slide in for a second, y'all. I see you, Fofo. You know what? I'm not even going to say it. You know why?
Go on and say it, because sometimes you just got to.
I've been saying it for as long as I've been running this platform. I've been saying it before I even, came to social media. And a person do get tired. I heard Charleston White say this earlier today. You get tired for fighting for your people that don't give a damn about you. You get tired of fighting for your people that'll be the ones that'll put that knife in your back. The very ones that you're fighting for, the very ones that you're on the front line for, will be the ones that put that knife in your back. And it can be for the dumbest reason. I mean, the dumbest reason it'll be. So when we talk about what needs to be done, it's not like we didn't already know what needed to be done before today. Me and you in the same age bracket. The same things that needed to be done back in the 70s is the same thing that needed to be done in the 80s. Same thing that needed to be done in the 90s. See, this is why when I was talking to you about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, and this is why I'm glad that we had that conversation, because today they call it woke. And social media will have you believing all we need to do now, because we're finding out the system is against us. We're finding out, that the system is rigged. Dr. K, we've been through this. I'm saying all this to say this. As a people, are we really ready for what has to happen in order for things to change? It ain't going to be no more praying to make things better. Now, we can still pray, but not to make things better. If you peep game, and if you wonder why the different nationalities work together, if you wonder why the different nationalities are successful, they got white on white crime. They got Asian on Asian crime. They got Hispanic on Hispanic crime. They got Mexican on Mexican crime. But the thing that they have over us, they could kill each other, but they're not going to let us kill one of them without getting away with it. You know what I'm talking about? So just look around. The Asian boycott. For everyone that you see agreeing to the boycott, you see another one that's calling the boycott stupid. For everyone that you see, we need to shop black owned, you see another black. Oh man, that shopping black owned, that ain't gonna help, because black people got the worstest service. Black people always trying to charge you more than everybody else. You see what I'm saying? Whenever one person step forward in the right direction, there's another one that's going to the left. And I tell people all the time, don't think that you are exempt. Because for some strange reason, we think that we won't get crucified like Jesus got crucified. For some strange reason, we think when we step up and try to make a difference, people ain't going to come after us and air out our dirty laundry. You know what I'm talking about? So We see the problem. And then I'm going to say this and then I'm going to digress because I honestly, it's past the talking and screaming till my voice conquer out. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. But we won't support a Black-owned business that's right in front of our face. We won't support it. But we'll turn right around and support the very businesses that don't give a damn about us. Let me say this, and then I'm really going to go after I say this. As Black people, we are quick to say, but it ain't all the Asians. It ain't all the Caucasians. You can't boycott all of them. But notice when they speak on us, they speak on us as a whole. They speak on us as a community. They know all Black people ain't ghetto. They know all Black people ain't ignorant. But when they true color come out, all Black people, regardless where at they were born, regardless of what country, all Black people are that N-word. And they're going to categorize all of us as a whole for what one or two may do. If we do something to one of them, they parents ain't going to be in the courtroom talking about, we got to do the Christian thing and we got to forgive them. Hell to the nah. But when they do something to us, our family members will be in that courtroom. I forgive you. I forgive you. You come on in and you take it from there. You come on in, Doc. You take it from there.
It's interesting because you're talking about moving from knowledge of something versus going into an actionary state, because that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. To know versus application, which is wisdom. To know something is not productive always because you know it. We can teach all day, but wisdom is the application of knowledge, is what you use, or it's the action of you actually put into work what you know. And I think you said a lot of important pieces to what we're seeing as a nation of people. When you not only have people collectively coming against a group of people, not because they inherently did anything wrong to someone else, but because of the complexion of what they look like. And even in that, it's still skewed, right? It's skewed, period. And we haven't even understood the awareness of that. Because everything you're discussing, based on what we come to perceive, are social constructs. A group of people making decisions for your ass that did not include you to come to the party to make decisions. And I'm going to go back again to the person I talked about yesterday, Edward Bernays, the person that created the propaganda book that stated that there always have to be a higher collective group making decisions for the others, but also keeping their ass fighting with each other and not really comprehending the goal here. And don't get me wrong, I understand the dynamics, but at this point, our own government is trying to kick us out. So what is it going to take collectively as a people for us to actually see, for us to make decisions to start creating our own things, coming together to find land and creating our own communities. I don't understand what it's going to take for us to actually do that. But I also want to understand, I'm going to go back again. You said something very powerful when you talked about talking to your people and what Charleston White said. And I think this is the piece we miss. Remember I told you about the Hebrew concept of a Messiah is a leader, and it's the reason why that language is in COINTELPRO. I'm recall every time I read a book of prophets in the Bible, there are some selective words that God used to those prophets, the ones that had to hold because a prophet is not what you saw in the church. Their job was to turn the hearts of the people back to God, to teach them standards, to help the community get back to social order. That's the shit our people used to be. But he would always give them a caution. I'm sending you to a group of people who are going to talk about your ass. They're going to rise up against you. They're going to try to do everything they can to sabotage you, to stop you from doing whatever it is that you need to do to bring them back into proper alignment. We can't blame everybody for the conditions of our environment because it requires self-accountability. And I remember one day I was talking to a young girl when I worked at the homeless shelter, and she said, your generation failed us. And I said, I can understand how you would perceive that. I said, but I'm going to help you understand something. I didn't fail you because I made sure I had a standard for my kids. I didn't get the kind of love and attention that I deserved from my mother, but I made a decision to make a change and do something different. And I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I don't know what I was doing. But what I did know was that I was going to shift the paradigm and I was going to change something, because ain't no way that I was finna see the dysfunction of 2 generations prior be in my house. It's still a standard. So I say today, when you see dysfunction, and one of the pet peeves God had for the people was that we saw the dysfunction and we didn't say shit. Idly standing by to see dysfunction and not interact or engage to correct it, you participate in seeing the community get destroyed. And I know that hurt it. It's not my intention to harm, but it's still a truth nonetheless. How do we fix it? How do we stop people like him from preying upon the community? Because if we looking at it and we ain't saying shit and we ain't doing anything to change it, we talking about it in the beauty shops and barber shops. We will talk about the state of the community, but we don't do shit to fix it. So are we gonna keep talking about the state of it? Are we gonna be actionary? Are we gonna change it? Because at this point, we all we got. Now, one thing I can say about being Black is when there is atrocities, we know how to come together. Why is it that we don't have the same follow through when it comes to actually changing the community? This is a hard topic to talk about tonight, and it don't feel good to none of us to hear it. But it doesn't take away from the truth, because truth cuts, it hurt, it don't feel good. It is definitely a hard thing to hear, because we are a people that don't like to hear truth. We also are a people that don't like correction, but it doesn't take away from the problem that's happening in our communities today. And it's a standard that has to be set. Because at this point, our children, the next generation of children who have anger issues that are disconnected from their emotions are going to wreak havoc on us. And we will be the elders. I'm quiet now.
Let me tap back into the phone calls and then we're going to get out of here, y'all.
Later.
Recording and monitoring. The inmate has requested that if you don't wish to talk, hang up now. Thank you for using Telmate.
Hello.
What's called?
Nothing.
Are you ready for it, right? Hey, man.
What am I supposed to be doing tonight?
Oh, man.
No, I'm not ready for tonight. No, I'm not. I plan on stepping out tonight.
That's purpose.
Don't feel like that, Jarvis.
Ain't got nothing to say.
Hmm.
I ain't got shit to say.
I knew you was gonna do that. I knew you was gonna act like that.
Like what?
That.
What I don't like.
You is. Look at you snapping at me. You always want to see me when I tell you I'm about to do something.
It's not with you at all. It's not with you one bit. That is something you should have told me yesterday before you made plans. You understand that?
Sorry. What?
I said, yeah, I'm good.
You said what? No, what you said. I want to keep asking you.
I said, I'm good on that.
Oh, you good on that? Oh, it's like that. You good on that?
Because you knew what you was doing, bro. You knew that shit yesterday.
I no fucking knew what I was doing.
Oh, don't curse at me because I didn't curse at you.
I ain't know what I was doing.
You knew what was going on.
Oh my God, you get on my nerves with that. You get on my nerves every time. It's every fucking time.
Right.
And you act like the fuck you out here and shit.
Plans with me, though. Don't make no fucking plan with me, nigga, when you had other
I ain't make no
on your fucking agenda. That's the point I'm making to you now. So all that extra shit you finna spit out your mouth, man, I don't want to hear it. Enjoy your evening. Have fun.
Whoa. Budget up in baser. Guys, Nina just built.
Hey, don't forget what I said earlier about him losing control and how
This is a call from
Jay.
an inmate at Wayne.
Right. Now, you know these are different females, right? You hear me, Doc?
Yeah, but you still see the same response and reactions to every situation.
Right. All right, let's tap back in.
County Jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. The inmate has requested that you pay for this call. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now. Thank you for using Telmate.
Hello. Let me know when you finna start your bullshit so I know not to get on the phone in hopes of talking to you.
What bullshit?
What you texting?
Because I said you don't love me.
No, you said you said when I called you weren't gonna put no more money on the phone, so I wasn't gonna get through.
Yeah, I did say it.
So when you doing that, so I don't have to so I know not to call.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So when you going to this fundraiser?
It's out at 9. I'm about to leave in what is it, 7? Leaving around 8.
Hey, well, I ain't want to say that. I just called and see when you was going to start your bullshit.
I don't start no bullshit. Jarvis, you just made me mad.
Yeah.
What?
I say, okay. Just humor me. Where's the party at?
I told you where it was. You could busy trying to cut me out.
Yeah.
I told you.
Tell me now.
I said it's where I had my party at. It's like fundraisers.
Okay. Why start at 9 if it's a fundraiser?
Because that's how they got it, from 9 to 2. It's a fundraiser. You want me to send it to you? I can see if I can send it to you.
No, shit.
Well, then, I ain't worrying about a lot of you. I definitely send it to you.
All right, good. I ain't finna start, but I'll touch it tomorrow. Be careful.
Definitely send it to you.
Yeah, what I said, right?
No, what you think?
So I'll touch you tomorrow. Be safe.
I will. Thank you. That's it.
What?
I'm like, damn, that's it.
I thought you said something else.
Oh, you ain't got to. I mean, I'm just saying.
Right, now you said that how shit feel, right?
What?
So yeah, now you said that shit feel, right?
Yeah, I see how shit feels.
Yeah. Touch you tomorrow.
I definitely. You too. I see how it feels. You can go to hell. I ain't got one. That's you. Yeah, it's funny, ain't it? That's you right there. They waiting on you to get up out of there. Easy. Sure will.
Talk to me, Doc, before we get out of here. I see you, T. I see you, Doc. Doc, first let me ask you about the women. Are these women slow, in your opinion?
We dealing with trauma bonding. And it still goes back to a low sense of self. I think I ain't feeling I ain't feeling go chasing nothing in that direction. I think it also speaks to the desperation of relationships today with women as well. I can't, like, for my understanding, when I think about what someone can add to my life, because a partner is about that, right? And this is why I said again, if we're looking at these women's lives, I'm sure 9 times out of 10 you're gonna find that this child grew up without a man in the home. How do you gauge on choosing a mate if you've never seen a functional example? That's what I was saying yesterday, and why we always focus on fathers being a part of a son's life. They both need him, but the woman need the example the most, because I'm picking my mate based on characteristics. And if I don't have an effective, healthy looking characteristic of a man growing up in my home, how in the fuck am I going to choose somebody with that? What do I see in my environment most times it's the same thing you saw your mama dating. That's the example. So the importance of a healthy sense of a mate starts. It's like telling people charity begins at home. How you learn to conduct yourself outside is based on what you were taught how to do in the house. Everybody got children. If you don't take your children out frequently, when they finally do out, they ain't gonna know how to act inside of a goddamn restaurant. So we put stipulations on people without understanding the circumstances of how they grew up. But a woman can't choose a man without a healthy example of seeing it growing up. How often do we see loving relationships in Black families? I just want to know. Healthy is what I said. I remember, this is also interesting because people don't know therapists got to go to therapy in order to become licensed. We have to have 200 hours of therapy because we got to know what it's like to sit on the other side of the couch. My therapist used to ask me, how did I grow up in the dynamic that I did and come out the way I did and to have the children I did. Yeah, Cosby Show, goddamn, is what I saw. A healthy example of a man and a woman engaging with one another. I also had another example, Mr. and Mrs. Thomas. They didn't have any children, but they were very loving couples. So I had an example to see Black love at its finest. Now I'm going to say again, how often do we get to see it? Because it ain't on the TV screen. And it damn show ain't across social media. So what examples do we have? How do you know how to choose a mate? Who taught you? What did they say you should do? How do you keep a man? How do you keep a woman? Because when we talk about relationship dynamics, it's not common to see a healthy, functional Black relationship, period. So where are the examples at? Because we sure too busy telling each other how to have one, but I damn sure don't see a lot of them. Who's responsible for it? We always got to put it back to where it belongs, because who is supposed to be responsible for building up the kids? We have more discussions of relationships talks across social media, and with all of the discussion of healthy supposed relationship conversations that we see every goddamn day across your timeline, why don't we have it in our homes? I'm gonna rest that case.
As always, Doc, I always enjoy you blessing the panel. Let's go get out here on a positive note. Salute. And I'll see everybody back tomorrow. Let me first get some ideas from you, Doc, as well as the chat. Give me a demonstration that y'all would like for me to do. Give me another demonstration besides the Nazaria Harris case that y'all would like for me to do. Any ideas, Doc?
It's a lot to talk about. I mean, I'm game for whatever you want to bring to the table.
Anybody in the chat want to pitch me an idea for a demonstration to do tomorrow?
I mean, we definitely just talked about what it means to have a functional relationship. I think that would be a hell of a engagement, even though it's done to death.
You want to do that? What consists of a functional relationship?
We can do that. We can talk about the discontention between men and women, black men and women across social media.
Let's talk about that right there. Let's talk about that right there. I'm not sure of the time, but I'll set it up and I'll let you know early, so I won't be putting you under the gun, so you won't be rushing. So, but I'll set it up for tomorrow, and I'll let you know the time. And for everybody that's watching, I'll make sure that I have it set up early. Probably like by 1 p.m., I'll have it set up.
Okay.
So everybody check my post at 1 p.m. to see what time I'm going to set it up for. And I'll just send you the link like I always do. I'll send you the link to it, all right?
Okay.
All right. Salute and appreciate you for pulling up with me.
Good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
First of all, successful relationship is probably subjective. So it depends on, you know, what each couple is looking for out of a relationship, whether it be a financial one. Are you talking successful in, you know, how far you go business wise? Are you talking successful in how many kids we have or how big our house gets? Some people may be, you know, fine just living in an apartment.
I feel like communication is the key to a successful, first and foremost. From growing up, my father was always the provider. My mother was the homemaker. And so, like Brian was saying, time has changed to where I feel like I had to do a demonstration on, is it 50-50? Should it even be a number versus why don't we just help each other?
That she should respect that, because it's really hard for a man to tap into his emotions, and when he showed that to his woman, she should respect that.
I agree.
Communication, definitely communication, because I feel like that's a partnership. Not only when y'all come into union as a marriage, like when a man and a woman come into union as with a marriage, not only y'all building up a legacy, y'all building a family. And lightweight, even though it's not a business, y'all coming into union, y'all money coming into union, so now the household is now generating income, and it's now a business.
So that's one of my deal breakers. You got to be able to communicate. You have to be emotional available for me, because and you asked this question. I have learned that from not being able to be emotionally free in my relationship, right? I will suppress some things, and that cause me to react to others and in my life in a different way. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna need to come home and be able to vent to you without being called a sucker, a softy, and all that, because I'm human too, right? So I need somebody that's gonna be. No, you don't have to call them. We don't have to have sex every time. But listen, I need you to be there emotionally for me. You know what I mean? I need to be able to vent to you, and you not look down on me for being human.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking this coming from a man. You know what I mean? And I'm every bits and parts of a man. You feel me? So I need that availability, emotionally availability from you, because I'm gonna be there for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? When that shoulder you need to cry on, I'm that shoulder, and I want to be that only shoulder. I don't want her to run to nobody else's shoulder.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? So them my deal breakers. Like, be the same thing I'm gonna give you. I want back.
To be honest, Shank, my main deal breaker as a man is toxicity in a woman. What I mean by toxicity, I'm just speaking from my perspective. I don't like a female that's ghetto. I don't like a female that's always yelling, cursing. Because I've dealt with someone like that before, and she was a real piece of work. And I said, as I got older, I said I will always make sure if anybody I've ever dealt with, I can't deal with the toxicity at all. Like, you're not a female that doesn't, you want to act more like a man than you act like a female, you know, being aggressive and that's my main deal breaker. Is a real toxic female. That's my main thing. I can't deal with that as a man.
Men have feelings too, and I see in some of our communities, men don't get to share their feelings and everything because they always getting shot down, and this caused some destructions in the relationship. Because if he can't honestly share with his woman how he feel, what you think that's gonna be like? You know, if I can share my feelings and my opinion, he should have the same right to do the same, because it's a union. Once you come together as a union, it's nothing off the table.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? As far as a woman, you know, helping that man, because that's what she is, a helpmate. When I'm strong, if he weak, I'm going to be his strength. If he weak, I'm gonna be his strength. I'm going to pull where it's necessary to pull that, to keep our relationship together, to keep it whole, to keep it going.
If you have a husband and he's a millionaire and say, baby, I don't want you to work, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But in our communities, not saying that we don't have black millionaires, because we do, but in a normal setting, these days, it takes 2 incomes.
No boy.
It takes 2 incomes, but the respect level. Me and my husband never went to bed mad, because you're going to wake up mad. If you don't try to figure out, well, he said this. Okay, explain to me why you feel that way. And I'm going to explain why I feel that way. And then the whole C word, compromise. You know, compromise. But you got to love yourself. You got to love your mate. Did we argue? Everybody argues. But it's how you get back together to be on that standard. I love you. We're going to make this work. Whatever it is, we're going to make it work.
A deal breaker for me is somebody that just does not want to communicate. Like, I know I used to have issues in the past communicating properly, and I thought because I spoke my mind that I communicated, but I didn't communicate properly. So I learned that the issues that I would have with my mate wasn't getting. The point wasn't getting across to them because I did not know how to communicate well. But them not knowing how to communicate just made issues even worse. So I already knew that the next partner that I had, when I was ready to be in another relationship, that I wanted somebody that knew how to communicate and was willing to communicate and not just like leave stuff alone, because that's what a lot of people have issues with too. They have these problems and they think that because they don't talk about them, they just say, all right, you over it, I'm over it, and like we can move on, but you're really not moving on. Exactly. And then it's like piling up. So many more issues that you're not communicating about. And then it's like a combustion because you blow up and it's like all these things. You like, what? That happened a year ago.
Is it a big difference in the relationship with the male compared to the female as far as your expectations? Did you expect more out of this woman?
Yes. I expected more from a woman than that. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. So because I'm like the men's I've been in a relationship with, it's like every time I meet a man, I get it's like abused every time in a relationship. So I set aside to go try with a woman, with a female. I did it more than once, but I didn't make it sure. But I'm not sure that I was like it was the same thing with both ways. Both ways, it happened both ways. It was an abused relationship and betrayal. So it happened both ends on my end. It happened both ways, between the woman and the man. So it's both ways.